Hi, I'm Amy Liss. My partner Amber Nesbitt and I founded Campus Integrity Group after leading the nation's only oversight body for staff on student sexual misconduct for the third largest school district in the country. We now bring our expertise to schools, families, attorneys, insurers, and youth-serving organizations nationwide with a focus on misconduct investigations involving minors, prevention strategies, and compliance with Title IX and other state and federal regulations. Today, I want to talk about what background checks tell you, what they don't, and why the gap between the two is where institutions get hurt. A clean background check feels like finished due diligence, and that feeling is the problem. A background check answers one narrow question. Did this specific search in these specific places find the specific kind of public record? It does not answer the question everyone assumes it answers, which is whether this person is safe around kids. A background check is one piece of the puzzle, but the puzzle is far from finished. When an institution stops there, it may find itself in trouble down the road. Now, don't get me wrong, background checks do real work. Convictions in the search jurisdictions, registry matches, employment verification, and credentials, such as licenses and certifications, are all reliable information. Screening filters out a meaningful number of people who should never be in a child-facing role. The point isn't to replace the tool, it's to stop assuming that the tool does more than it really does. There are 6 main blind spots that everybody should know, and that is where the gaps lie. First, jurisdiction. A background check only looks where it's told to look, so out-of-state history simply doesn't exist to it. Number 2, non-convictions. Drop charges in sealed cases are excluded, often by design and sometimes by law, which is a fairness safeguard, but also means a pattern of allegations stay invisible. Number 3, civil matters. Harassment lawsuits and restraining orders live in civil court, which is entirely outside the scope of a criminal check. Number 4, personnel findings. Misconduct concerns and investigative findings live in a file cabinet in a previous employer's office, not in a publicly available database. And number 5, identity matters. Common names and name changes, even different middle names used, cause missed or misattributed records. And finally, number 6, reporting lag. Courts feed vendor databases slowly, so a recent case may not show up the first time you look. Schools carry extra risk. Why? Because an educator is investigated, the finding is substantiated internally, they're allowed to resign quietly, and they show up at the next district with a spotless criminal record because nothing on paper was ever criminal. This is referred to as passing the trash. By letting an employee leave quietly, you're all but giving them permission to do the same thing at a different school or youth-serving organization. Some states have responded, and others have legislation pending. Illinois Faith's law, for example, requires schools to get sexual misconduct information from prior employers. But coverage varies widely across states. And if your state's minimum is thin, relying on that legal minimum means inheriting everything it leaves out. Here are 5 practices that close the gap between what you do now and what you could be doing. And none of these fixes are expensive or exotic. When making reference calls, ask, would you rehire this person? And if not, why? Instead of just confirming their role and their dates of employment. Search every county and state the candidate has lived or worked in, not just your own. Look at educator misconduct registries if and where they exist, alongside the criminal check, not instead of it. Consistently review public records and social media sites. The information you can gather from, say, a Facebook or Instagram page is priceless. Finally, rescreen on a schedule. A single check in the beginning is just a snapshot that goes stale. You never know what people may do after they're hired. No single practice closes every gap, but together they change the picture. Think of the age-old onion reference. You peel off each layer until you get to the center, and that's when you really know someone. But you have to peel off every layer, not just the top few, or you only have part of their story. Think about your screening process and answer these 5 questions truthfully. Do you search everywhere that the candidate lived? Do you ask the right questions of their references? Do you review state misconduct databases if they exist? Do you rescreen current employees? And does someone familiar with what background checks miss review the results? Any no marks a gap worth closing. Most organizations find at least 2, and that's okay. Whether you find none, 1, or all 5, The point is to recognize where you may be missing the mark and to make adjustments as needed. Remember, layers. The more there are, the more background information you will receive, and the more you are protecting the youth in your care. So what's the bottom line? A background check tells you what one search found and the place it looked, nothing more. Organizations that treat it as a starting point and layer references, registries, rescreening, and informed review on top of it are the ones that build an honest, thorough picture of risk. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or want more information on any of our services and how we may be able to support you now or in the future, we do offer a free 60-minute consultation. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.